The Palestinian-Israeli conflict is a complex and deeply rooted issue with a long and painful history. It is rooted in competing claims to the same land. Both Palestinians and Israelis consider the region their rightful homeland. This has led to decades of violence, displacement, and mistrust. Following the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, Israel controlled most of the territory. This resulted in the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. The 1967 Six-Day War led to Israel's occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. This further fueled tensions and fueled the Palestinian desire for an independent state. The Oslo Accords in the 1990s offered a glimmer of hope. These agreements aimed for a two-state solution. However, the peace process stalled. Issues such as settlements, borders, and the status of Jerusalem remained unresolved. The failure of the peace process led to renewed violence. The Second Intifada erupted in the early 2000s. This uprising resulted in significant casualties on both sides. It further entrenched the divisions and hardened positions. 2024 has witnessed a dangerous escalation in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Tensions flared up in July 2023 with increased rocket fire from Gaza and Israeli airstrikes. A fragile Egypt-brokered ceasefire in August provided a brief respite. However, sporadic clashes continued. The Israeli government's approval of new settlements in the West Bank in September 2023 drew international condemnation. However, the expansion continued, further fueling Palestinian anger. The situation deteriorated rapidly in November 2023 with a major Hamas attack on Israeli border towns. Israel responded with a large-scale military operation in Gaza. Recent Israeli airstrikes in Gaza City on December 22, 2024, left 28 Palestinians dead, adding to the growing number of casualties. These airstrikes are part of ongoing military operations that have intensified in recent weeks. Retaliatory missile attacks from Yemen on Tel Aviv on December 21st injured 14 people, highlighting the volatile regional dynamics. Amidst the violence, mediators are pushing for ceasefire talks. Egypt, a key player in regional diplomacy, is actively engaged in mediating a truce. However, previous ceasefire agreements have been short-lived, and the current situation remains extremely fragile. The ongoing conflict has had a devastating impact on the Palestinian population, particularly in the Gaza Strip. Gaza has been under Israeli blockade for over a decade, severely restricting the movement of people and goods. The recent escalation in violence has exacerbated the already dire humanitarian situation. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, or UNRWA, has warned of the potential collapse of its operations in Gaza due to a lack of funding. This would be catastrophic for the 2 million Palestinians in Gaza who rely on UNRWA for essential services like healthcare, education, and food assistance. The relentless airstrikes have left many children deeply traumatized. Reports suggest that many children are unable to sleep, eat, or speak due to the constant fear and insecurity. The psychological scars of this conflict will have long-lasting consequences for generations to come. The international community has been engaged in efforts to find a peaceful resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The United States, under the Biden administration, has resumed its role as a mediator. However, the US faces criticism for its close ties with Israel and perceived bias. Key figures involved in the peace process include Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, and Hamas leader in Gaza Yahya Sinwar. Netanyahu, known for his hardline stance on security and settlements, has seen his image bolstered by recent events in Syria. Abbas, facing declining influence and internal challenges within the Palestinian Authority, struggles to maintain control. Meanwhile, Sinwar, advocating armed resistance, continues to gain support among Palestinians disillusioned with the peace process. The United Nations has repeatedly called for restraint and a return to negotiations. However, UN resolutions face challenges, particularly from the United States, which often shields Israel from criticism. The volatile situation in Gaza and the lack of progress in peace talks underscore the immense challenges in finding a lasting solution to this decades-long conflict.